Welcome to the third and final Q&A video that's fitting into my Q&A playlist for my first ever Q&A. This video is based entirely on more personal questions, more random questions and more personal questions. They're not going to be based on university and they're not going to be based on YouTube. If you would like to see those videos, then there is a link in the description down below to a playlist containing videos about university and YouTube. So if you would like to check them out, the link is there. If you really like these Q&A videos that I've put together for you, feel free to let me know about it so that I know to make one again sometime soon in the future. But I have a lot of questions to cover, so let's get into it. Our first question comes from Jonathan, and he asks, how do you like your toast and what do you like on it? When it comes to toast, I like it lightly toasted. My dad likes it cremated, like literally burnt, and I don't understand why. You can't taste the quality of the bread if you burn it like that. And on top of the toast, I like marmalade, and preferably the thicker the better. I love really thick marmalade on my toast. It's delicious. But obviously if it came down to the choice and I had to pick what kind of toast I would have for the rest of my entire life, if I could have no other kind of toast, and that would easily be cheese on toast, where it's nice and goldenly orange on top and there's loads of pepper. My next question comes from Georgie, who asks, what would you say is the biggest achievement in your life? And this is a really hard question. You'd think I'd be able to nail this question, considering how many different placements I applied to and probably how many times they asked this question, but it's actually a really difficult one. And the problem is you have lots of rolling achievements in your life. Like, your GCSE results are really, really good, and then you take your A-levels and then you don't really care about your GCSEs anymore. So I have loads of rolling achievements that I'm really, really proud of, but I assume they will be the same for a lot of people. So I would say my two most unique achievements are the space mission and the fact that I was once the 5th fastest in the country for my age group at the 200-meter backstroke. They're probably the achievements I'm most proud of and that I know won't be beaten by another one soon. Next question comes from M, and she asks, who's your favourite superhero? I should think this is quite apparent. I'm Batman! The most recent Batman trilogy was like insanely gritty and I really love that. And I'm not really a fan of superheroes, to be honest with you. I don't like the idea of them being bulletproof and just having silly superpowers and stuff. So I'm not really a fan of people like Spider-Man and Superman. So Batman is more of a down-to-earth kind of superhero. But to be honest with you, I'm more of a villain kind of guy. The Joker will always be better than Batman, in the same way Moriarty will always be better than Sherlock. If I had to pick a supervillain that was my favourite, it'll be easily Moriarty. Next question comes from Isabel, and it's, how did you meet Lovely? I feel awkward me talking about this while she's not here, so I'll give you a brief overview. But to be honest with you, it's not very exciting. We went to school together. I can't really put my finger on when the first time was that we met each other, because we were basically in the same class for a couple of different things. I remember the first thing I'd thought when I saw her was that she had a really pretty coat on, and she looked really, really pretty in it. But basically we started talking in ICT and stuff, and I helped her with her chemistry revision, and we went for dog walks and revision picnics, and our relationship grew from there, basically. We'll cover this again in the future when Lovely is here to talk about it as well. I think that'll make a really interesting and cute video. But until then, a longer, more detailed answer is in the blog post in the description. The next question comes in from M again, and she asks, are you going to see the 50 Shades of Grey in the cinema with Lovely? Have you read the 50 Shades trilogy? No. And no, basically no. I have no interest in that kind of novel. And firstly, I can't think of a single thing that's more awkward to watch with Lovely. And secondly, I can think of easily, off the top of my head, at least 100 books I would rather read before I get to that. Next question is from Ben Tocknell, and he asks, have you ever had a love bite / hickey on your neck in the past year? Everyone, if you'd just like to cover your ears a second while I address Ben personally. Fuck you, Ben. Yes, dick. Next question comes from M. Do you like sharks? I've got no reason not to. I'd say hammerhead sharks are my favourite. Next question comes from Isabel, and she asks, would you say you are more shy or confident? And I don't know the answer to that question. I would do a lot to avoid social interactions with people. Like, I'd feel awkward starting a conversation with somebody that I didn't know. But if I was in a situation where they started it, or I was forced to start it, then I would be very confident. Could you argue that I'm not actually confident, that I'm just like climbing into a shell? Can I Chili Dog asks, would you rather sneeze sand or cry acid? I most definitely would rather sneeze sand. Like, crying acid would make you cry more, but I don't think sneezing sand would make you sneeze more. And as someone who actually has had acid in my eye, no, never again. Because that shit burns. Question from Georgie. Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years' time? In 10 years' time, I see myself either heading my own software development company or climbing the ladder at another software development company. I see myself and Lovely still doing these videos, at least to some capacity. I see Lovely doing the job that she's always wanted to do, which is run a vintage cafe and cake shop and do baking and stuff. And I potentially see the pitter-patter of tiny feet, maybe, but that might be a bit personal. Again, we'll have to ask that when Lovely's around, I think. The next question comes from M again, and this one is surprisingly deep, compared to her other questions. But this one is, what is your goal in life? And it's going to be a cliched answer, I'm afraid. I want to be able to comfortably support my family. Another goal of mine is to help set up Lovely with her like dream job. She's always wanted to have like her own cafe with her own self-made cakes. She's always wanted that, and if I can in some way, shape or form help fund that, then that would be incredible. The next question comes from Can I Chili Dog, and she says, what are you most excited about regarding what the future holds? The single thing I'm most excited about is spending the rest of my life with Lovely. I've spent so much time away from her that I can't wait until she comes down to Bristol and lives with me. But I'm also excited to be able to make some of the business ideas that I have. I have quite a couple of products I want to make that I think I can make a business out of, and I'm really excited to see how they will turn out, basically, to see if I can actually pull it off. My next question comes from UJIK, and they said, can you say, and then this thing here. I've been told not to Google this as well, so I apologise if it's rude. I don't mean to offend anyone, both with the sentence and my poor pronunciation of it. Here we go. Say Sekarang, Sedang, Beraling, Sambil, Mencari, Anting. How's that? Next question comes from Lawrence, and he asks, what are your computer specs? I get asked this so often. Okay, processor is an Intel i7-3770, and it's a 3.5 gigahertz one, but I've got it overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's 4 sticks of 4 gigabytes, and the speed is 1600 megahertz. My video card is an AMD Radeon HD 7700. It's got 2 gigabytes of dedicated video RAM, and I'm going to upgrade this soon. Basically because Atlas isn't a gaming rig, she's more of a workhorse, and I want to play more games, so I want a better video card. Hard drive wise, I have a 2 terabyte, 7200 RPM SATA hard drive at 6 gigabits per second, and I have a 256 gigabyte SSD. Penultimately, Sophie asks a stonker of a question. Do you think you're prepared to work in a real workplace environment, computer skills wise? Short answer, no. I've now been working there for 2 months, so I'll answer again, no. Computing is a weird thing. It's a very, very big topic. It's huge and it's ever changing. New things are coming out all the time. For example, I've been taught a handful of languages. I've been taught VB6, VB.NET, Python, Java, C/C++, Lisp and Prolog. That sounds like a lot, but there are thousands of programming languages out there. You can't possibly know them all. And to make that problem worse, I only know a small fraction of the programming languages. Within each programming language, there is a millions of different tiny little plugins that do different tiny little things, like different technologies that work within this and this and this and this and this. And it is impossible to know them all until you go and you actually get used to working with them. And that's the thing about computer science, especially at university. You aren't taught how to do things in a certain way. You are taught how to program a couple of things in Java, a couple of things in this, a couple of things in this, a couple of things in this. And then the idea is that you will be able to take all of the things you've learned and then apply them to any scenario with any language. And then you should be able to pick up that programming language and run with it as soon as possible. For example, the first project we've been working on at this placement is a small warm-up project for what we're actually going to be working with. We haven't even touched the majority of the technologies the place is working with. And our project is to build a Windows service that will access information from a database that would then offer that up to an ASP.NET web client. I knew nothing about doing any of that before I actually started doing it. So to do that, what we did was we developed a C# program which would use MySQL to get information from a database. It would then translate that into XML, save that to disk. We then developed a WCF, which would then work completely separately from the service, and it will just access the file that the service creates. This stops different web clients just hammering your database, so it's reducing the amount of times that the queries are being run on the service. By doing this, you only access the database as often as you want, so you set the service to poll it every 5 minutes, let's say. From here, we need to translate the XML file into a JSON file so that we can pass it through to an ASP.NET web client. The client is programmed using C#, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I didn't know how to use a single one of those technologies. I didn't even know I didn't even know they existed. I didn't know what a Windows service was. I didn't know what a WCF was. I didn't know how they interacted. I didn't know that we needed them to interact with each other. I didn't know how to program them. I didn't know the language we were programming them with. I only know very little things about HTML and CSS. I don't know anything about JavaScript. I don't know anything about ASP.NET. Again, C#. Don't know how to use it. I don't know how to get this to talk to this, which talks to this. I don't know a single aspect of that. But that's the thing, you don't know how to do something until you actually do it. We're taught at university to take what we're learning and then apply that to something else. But we did, and it works. I was given this entire thing and I had no idea how to do it. And that's the thing, you can know as much as you want about this little section. But one, there's all of these sections you don't know about. And two, within that little section, there will be hundreds of different technologies you've never even heard of, that you don't even know exist, and you've got to be able to pull them out and use them. I was trying to think of an analogy for this, and it's a bit like university teaches you how to bend metal. It teaches you how to shape it however you want, and it teaches you how to weld it together. Someone then comes up to you and says, build me a bike. You then have to do a load of research how to make a bike, what a bike looks like, what it's made out of, bend it into the right shape. The first one you make is hideous. It always is. It's gross. You build it again and again and again, and you get better and better at making those bikes. Then someone comes along and says, make me a car. You have to take what you know from bending metals, you have to take what you know from building bikes and build a car. First one's rubbish. You build up on it, you make it better and better and better. Build me a rocket. Build me a horse-drawn cart. There are hundreds and hundreds of different things that you've never known how to build. You have to be able to learn. You need to be able to go, you know what, I've made something similar. I'll be able to use this, mush it together, do a bit of research, jiggle it and jamble it a bit, and then bam, you've got a working product. That's why I love computer science. You notice how energetic I got about explaining that? It's how much you don't know, and yet you can still do it. I could never build a car with what I know now, but if I was to program a car, if that was possible, I think I'd be able to do it. I hope that analogy makes sense. Basically, no. Basically, I don't think I'll ever be comfortable in a new workplace. But you will become comfortable as you get familiarised with the technologies that they use. And our final question comes from Mike, who says, when are you next available for Jamie G, boys? And I don't know, Mike. I landed in the country at 4 o'clock this morning. So I doubt I'll be on it tonight. I'm going to be very busy like getting sorted after my holiday for the first half of the week, so maybe Thursday? Hopefully tonight, but maybe Thursday. How's that for you, Mike? That's the end of my Q&A video. I've just sat here for 3 hours and filmed all of them together in one big block. If you want to go and see any of the other Q&As, then the playlist for those videos is in the description down below. And if you would like to see more Q&As in the future, make sure you let me know in the comments down below and by liking this video. I intend to potentially do this more often so that I get less questions, so that I can put them into one video instead of 3. If you want more detailed answers to the questions that I've answered in these videos, there are links to the blog post in the description down below. If you would like to ask me more questions, feel free to do so in the comment down below or on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, you name it. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for asking questions, and thank you for doing my survey, which is what this has all come from. I look forward to seeing you again pretty soon. So until then, I will catch you later.